Test. Should have done that before the video started, but oh well, you do what you can. So I recorded my first Triad Wars game versus Crescent, but the sound didn't work. Sometimes my mic comes disconnected or things happen. It sort of has a broken top right now, but anyway, whatever. But I thought it was a really cool game, so I wanted to show it. This was my game versus Cres. I built the hand in advance. There's a video of that. I'm the hand in blue. He's the hand in red. And I just wanted to talk about how Cres played this game because I thought it was a really nicely played game. So you'll notice I have a 7 or a 6 in every direction. Crescent's hand is not so consistently directionally balanced, but we can see the point behind it, and I do think the build is very interesting. He has 2 opposite 7-5 corners in 1 and 9. Then he has a 7-5 corner for 7 that specifically does not have a redundant direction for the 7. So he does have a 7 in 3 directions. And then is this 4-5-3-2 and this 2-2-4-4 that seemed a little weak to me, but are actually going to play really nicely and provide a little power in opposite corners. The obvious weakness is there's only a 5 to the left. So I think the obvious question, the first thing I looked at here was, can I lead with 7-5-5-1 and 7? And I think this is almost really strong, but the problem, I believe, was 3-5-7-3. I'm gonna press play. Yeah, that might make it easier to see the card. Yeah, 3-5-7-3 in 5 sets up 5-7-3-1 for 4 and sets up 7-1-2-5 for 8. And importantly, I think that was what I was worried about. It also sets up 2-2-4-4 for 8 potentially. Was that the move I was worried about? I think it was. And my problem was I then can't play next to my starter, right? Like I can't play on 4 or 8 with a high number facing out and be safe because anything next to my starter except the 4, 1, 5, 7, and 8 is comboed really hard when he combos. And so if I go 4, force 8, I didn't have good moves for 9. It all felt really uncomfortable. I couldn't find a plan there. So I thought, okay, that's okay though. I don't need to play 7-5-5-1 immediately. Knowing it's potentially safe later should still be worth a lot. And as soon as cards come out of his hand, it will gain value. I then started looking, how can I get one of the weaker cards out of my hand in a useful way? And specifically, I want the game to go to the left because he only has a 5 to the left. And so even if he can take the first stuff I put out, he might not be able to take stuff later. And second of all, I want something that I can take back pretty comfortably. I didn't think I had any good starts with my high level cards, so I went with a lower level card. And if we skip ahead, this was my starter choice. I'm okay with this choice. I think this was decent, but I also think Cres found a really nice reply. So one thing second turn has going for them on this rule set, and I thought this was a second turn favored rule set, is you don't have to use as many of your low level cards. You don't have to find as many uses. And he just chose to capture, but capture with really high numbers facing out. And at the time I wasn't super impressed by this move. I had thought I had good replies. I had seen that I could play 4, 1, 5, 7, and 8 and set up combos in both 5 and 7. But I also saw this was a bad idea because if they block 7 and I play 2, 7, 5, 4, and 5 with the plus, they then have a plus in 2. And that looked pretty bad for me. So I didn't think that was the way to go. And I did look at 7, and after the game I decided I would go in 7 if this was repeated. Spoilers, we tied this game. I probably shouldn't give that away because I was really stressed during the game. But I decided after that I thought I could repeat this position with the idea of 7-5-5-1 and 7. And I thought that was pretty good pressure. I think it's, again, we know 7-5-5-1 and 7 is going to be pretty decent. And my idea is if they go in 5, they can do a setup move in 5. They could play something like 5-7-3-1 and 5. But then I thought 2-7-5-4 and 2 might be really good for me. With the point that if they take the plus in 8, If they take any plus in 8, I can play 4, 1, 5, 7, and 9, capturing the card in 8. It's 5, 5, and they have no captures on board. Maybe they can time 1 at 3 at the end there, you know. But I thought following up in 2 was often good, and if he blocked 2, I thought depends on what he plays, but I had ideas in 3, 5, or 8, or maybe 6. Not remembering quite, but I thought 7, 5, 5, 1, and 7, if we repeat, would be a better try than what I played. Now, I did the obvious move. I recaptured in 2. Specifically, I recaptured such that I didn't walk into anything big. I had initially wanted to play 2, 7, 5, 4 in 2, but I thought the problem there was that they just take from 5 with 7, 1, 2, 5, and I have no big setup in 9, and I also, have just given them a safe card in 2 and a safe card in 4. So I thought I needed to use something I could take back, which left me one choice. But this does leave me with limited left power. On the other hand, I thought this had some promise. For instance, if my opponent goes in 3, I have 5. If my opponent goes in 7, I have 5, right? I have this big threat in 5. I thought they probably had ties in both squares. I wasn't entirely sure, but I thought because I have this big threat in 5, I have really good pressure. And if they go in 5, I'm very likely to have a good move in 3, maybe a move in 7, maybe a move in 9, but most likely 3. And so I thought it's really hard for them to play 5. 5 is so risky in these structures because I will have locked in a card and they won't have. Also, if they don't capture, it's 5, 5 and I have the only locked in card and it's my turn, that seems pretty good. So I thought I had a good chance to play for a win here. And I thought this was really promising. But Crescent made a fantastic move here and I got real scared. He went in 5 without feeling the need to capture. And I've said this before, but I think this is a weakness in my play, is that I can undervalue the effect of a card in 5. And the effect of this card is not that he's even set up combos, right? It's not diagonal from any cards on the board, but it does set up a lot of critical combos controlling space on the board. This is something I think Deli is really good at and gives me trouble, and is something Crescent played fantastically well here, is controlling space, controlling the cards in my hand rather than the cards on the board. And this sets up just 2 combos that are so critical to how the game will go. I had assumed if he did something like this, I could then play 2, 2, 6, 2, and 3 at the very least. His only way to capture is 7, 1, 2, 5. I can then capture that with 7, 5, 5, 1, and then my 2, 7, 5, 4 sweeps the bottom row, and I'm going to get at least a tie, right? Because that's going to be guaranteed to get at least one capture if need be. And I thought, okay, that's my bailout plan here. It wasn't actually the first move I looked at here, but it was the idea I had when I played in 2 for what I would do if they went in 5. Was I can play 2, 2, 6, 2, and 3. That gets that card out of my hand. With 5 covered, it doesn't really have much play. But here it doesn't work. He's controlled it beautifully. If I play 2, 2, 6, 2, and 3, he plays 7, 1, 2, 5, and 6 as intended, but I can't go 7, 5, 5, 1, and 9 because he set up a plus with 5, 7, 3, 1, and 8. So he combos and I only take 1 back and I lose. And so I started looking at that position and trying to recover it. Okay, so I go in 3, they go 6. Can I start in 5? I can't start in 5. They go, can I start in 8? Can I go 7, 5, 5, 1, and 8? No, they just go 7 and 2, 7, 5, 4 is dead in 9. Can I start with 2, 7, 5, 4, and 7? No, because their card in 5 has set up another critical plus. 5, 7, 3, 1, and 8 will plus that, and I lose. Oh no, 3 does not work. And it turns out 3 just loses. And that really surprised me. I hadn't seen that coming, and it's because his move in 5 set up these 2 really critical combos that 5, 7, 3, 1 on the bottom row now dominates my 2, 7, 5, 4 if it wants to go in 7, and stops 7, 5, 5, 1 from landing in 9, which I hadn't calculated that deeply because I had assumed that 1 was not going to have, combo action against it. But it does here. So a really lovely move. Then, you start looking at 7 and 2, 7, 5, 4, but that just loses to 5, 7, 3, 1, and 8, as we've seen. Now, the first move I looked at was 2, 2, 6, 2, and 9. But I saw 2, 2, 6, 2, and 9. He goes 5, 7, 3, 1, and 7. I can't flip that. If I then play 2, 7, 5, 4, and 8, I don't flip anything. He plays 7, 1, 2, 5, and 6 with the same, and I lose. And if I play 7, 5, 5, 1, and 8, he also plays in 6 with the same, and I lose. So that was the first move I looked at, and I dismissed it. Later here, I came back to look at it again. And I was really panicking. And I realized, 7 does not have to be met with 8. I also did a stupid here. For some reason, I thought 2, 2, 6, 2, and 9 for a little bit. I thought 7, 5, 5, 1, and 6 was a plus because, 5 plus 1, of course, equals 5 plus 2. That was delusional. But I saw 2 tying ideas, right? I saw if I go 2, 2, 6, 2, and 9, he goes 5, 7, 3, 1, and 7. One idea I thought was a tie was 7, 5, 5, 1, and 6. No, that never makes sense. Sorry, I was looking at lines in 3, but I thought I could use either card in 3 because 7, 5, 5, 1 had both squares, but 7, 5, 5, 1 does not have both squares. Or I thought it had a winning threat. I don't remember now. Ugh, shame. But I did see, okay, 5, 7, if I go 2, 2, 6, 2, and 9, 5, 7, 3, 1, and 7, if I play 7, 5, 5, 1, and 3, I lose. They capture from 6. But if I play 2, 7, 5, 4, and 3, if they go in 8, they can only capture 9, and I can recapture with 7, 5, 5, 1. And if they go in 6, they can capture what they want, but they will only be able to flip one card I can't flip back, and I will flip 5 back and reply with 7, 5, 5, 1. And that's what ended up happening. But I thought this was a just sweet move in 5. Now, maybe it was gotten to because he felt he just needed to cover my combo square, which is a very good reason to look at the move. But I thought it really brilliantly controlled a lot of space. That may seem kind of natural. Gets a low-level card out of the hand, blocks a key square, doesn't use up the 5, 7, 3, 1 that is clearly more powerful. There's a bunch of ways to get to this move, but I would have spent so much time looking at 3 and 7 first. There's a very good chance I would have never gotten to considering this move in 5. And just an excellent move. I was so close to losing against it. I can not again describe how unhappy I was here. I think Crescent just played an awesome game. So if we skip ahead, I think I do eventually, I find the move in 9. He thinks a bit, looking for wins. Eventually plays the move in 7, which is the best try. And then I have to find 3. And for a second, I think I had realized at this point there wasn't a plus in 6, but maybe for a second here I thought I was winning because I thought I comboed the card in 5, but of course not. And we tied, and then we didn't play another. I spent a while just staring at the screen thinking about what I could have done, and that's when I realized in this position, maybe I could play 7, 5, 5, 1, and 7 with 2, 7, 5, 4 to follow. And so if we got a repeat, that was my plan, was I would start the same way. And if he met it the same way, I had an idea for how to pressure. And I think it's important to have that kind of idea. But anyways, I thought really good game. I think Crescent played fantastically here. I loved the move in 5. It just controlled the board so well. I think there's kind of fundamentally, I think of defensiveness as locking in cards and playing safety. And some people think of aggressiveness as, defensiveness is playing cards that are your own cards that are safe, and aggressiveness is attacking their cards, taking their cards. And I think that's a reasonable distinction, and maybe a useful one. Maybe I need different terms for the ones I'd prefer to use. But I like to think of it as defensiveness is kind of playing for the board, playing to control what's on the board, right? Setting up a safe card is playing a safe card on the board. Locking in a card is getting that advantage on the board. And aggressiveness is playing against the hands and what you do about the hands, right? So aggressiveness, like a defensive move might say, I have my 7-5 corner. That's safe at the start. I will play it in that corner. I would count that as a defensive move, right? And I think most people would. But an aggressive move might be playing the worst card in your hand in the opposite corner and thinking, the defensive player might think, this is safe now, I'm happy. The aggressive player might think, this card's going to sweep later. I'm going to set the game up to let it sweep later, right? And Similarly, a defensive player might think in a position like this, like me, might think 3 and 7 are the squares most likely to have safety. Those are the critical moves to check. And an aggressive player might think 5 is the move that interacts with the most of the board, even if it does not do so yet. And I can set up combo play against the remaining cards in their hand, and that just leads to such a powerful move here. And maybe it's not defensive versus aggressive. Maybe I need a different kind of difference. Maybe defensive versus aggressive should be something about kind of safety versus captures, right? Like focusing on captures for safety. But I do think there's a thing of playing for the board versus playing for the hands. And I think that's a really important differentiation in styles. And yeah, I think Crescent did a really nice job here of playing for the hands. Also, sometimes safety, defensiveness is hard, because if we look at the first move Crescent made, is this a defensive or an aggressive move? It flips a card. But really, the main point is it's just hard for me to play against, right? You know, I could take 4-1-5-7, but that gives him nice moves in 2, locking in a whole bunch of things. So basically, he's playing a card that's going to be hard for me to take later, right? The point of this is mostly not that it captures, though that has some point, because I have a left issue. It's hard for me to recapture. But, you know, much of the point, but maybe it's just everything. Maybe it's like defensive in the sense that it's close to safe. It's aggressive in the sense that it captures. It is defensive in the sense that it improves his onboard position by getting a card that's his color that's hard for me to take. And it is aggressive in the sense that it plays against directional weaknesses in my hand. But if that's the case, then these delineations of different styles might not be all that useful if a move can so plausibly count as all of them. So I probably need to rethink styles. But anyways, it's a real shame I lost the voice recording on this, though mostly it's me crying. But I thought Cres played awesome here. I think it's a great game, one I can learn from, hopefully, and one where he just controlled space so well. And I thought that was really impressive. And maybe something I'm going to focus a little more moving forward is kind of the options of controlling space versus controlling the board. Because this move in 5 is a move that controls space, not the board. And I have a harder time seeing moves like this. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this, I think, like masterpiece from Crescent. I didn't make any mistakes, so he couldn't have won, because my hand like wasn't bad or anything. I didn't, get outplayed quite enough to blow it. But that doesn't mean he didn't play a perfect game here, right? I think some people assume, like, if you didn't win, you must have made mistakes. Like, the assumption should be if you lost, you must have made mistakes, but you can play a perfect game and tie. It happens all the time. And I don't mean perfect just to mean, like, didn't make any mistakes, because by that standard, I made a perfect game. I played a perfect game, and I did not. I got severely outplayed here. I mean, I think he chose the moves at each point that applied maximal pressure. And that's just a fantastic game to have played, and I'm super impressed and still am, and I hope you enjoyed the game. Wasn't fun for me to play, but fun to look at again because he was superb, right? Great game, Cres.